Hello everyone, this is Crypto BitLaw back with another blockchain legal brief, and today we're going to discuss how a proposed rule by the SEC could spell trouble for DeFi. But before we dive in, please, if you like this content, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We'd really appreciate that. And with that said, let's jump right on in and unpack this proposed rule. Alright, so as we can see here, CoinDesk reports that the SEC's new proposal to redefine the term dealer could spell bad news for DeFi. The 200-page proposal is ostensibly about the electronic trading of U.S. Treasuries, but many industry insiders smell a sneak attack against crypto. They say, a new proposal by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, aims to redefine what it means to be a securities dealer, a move industry experts say could cripple the decentralized finance, or DeFi, industry. The proposal would expand the definition of dealer to include people and businesses that use automated and algorithmic trading technology to execute trades and provide liquidity in the market. While the proposal is, at least ostensibly, aimed at electronic traders of U.S. Treasuries, an issue the SEC has been wrestling with since at least 2014, a footnote buried in the 200-page text says the proposed rule would also apply to digital assets that have been deemed to be securities. Crypto lawyers have sounded the alarm on Twitter, calling the proposal an all-out shadow attack on decentralized finance. Gabriel Shapiro, general counsel at crypto research firm Delphi Digital, tweeted that if the proposal is accepted and the rule enforced, it could, quote, kill the tech. The proposal would bring all automated market makers, or AMMs, and liquidity providers with more than $50 million in total assets under management under the SEC's regulatory umbrella, and thus subject the SEC's registration requirements, something that would be impossible for many, if not all, decentralized exchanges. Any decentralized exchange that fits the new criteria under the proposal and that didn't register with the SEC could then, Shapiro argued, be declared an unregistered dealer, which is a felony offense under securities laws. The inclusion of crypto as a single footnote in the massive proposal has been seen by some lawyers as a deliberate attempt to add confusion and uncertainty into the crypto markets. Attempts to bring regulatory clarity to the industry have stalled, leaving the SEC to primarily regulate through enforcement. In a healthy rulemaking process, we wouldn't have to guess at the SEC's intent or its underlying goals, Jake Chervinsky, head of policy at the Blockchain Association, tweeted. Attempts to remain compliant by many industry participants, including leading exchanges like Coinbase, have been met with vague requests by SEC Chairman Gary Gensler and his staff to come in and register with the SEC. Monday's proposal, however, is being lambasted as a sign that the SEC's offer was never genuine. Quote, this is an indicator of the bad faith entailed in the Commission's come in and register facade over the past few years, tweeted crypto lawyer Collins Belton. The SEC has zero interest in DeFi participants coming in and registering, Shapiro wrote on Twitter. It's a ban, not a registration requirement. So we can turn now to the proposed rule, and it's going to be linked down in the description below. As we can see here, it's a Securities and Exchange Commission. The action is a proposed rule. And the summary is that the Securities and Exchange Commission is proposing new rules to further define the phrase as part of a regular business, as used in the statutory definitions of dealer and government securities dealer as part of the Exchange Act. And electronic comments can be submitted via the comment form, which is linked here. And if you feel passionately about this, as I do, I would just go ahead and give them a comment and just kind of let them know how you think that this is pretty much a broad overreach of their regulatory powers. And we could see they mention the term automated at least 12 times. Here's one of the footnotes. Here's another one. They talk about the algorithmic trading strategies, passive market making, and so on and so forth. But I think the long and the short of what this proposed rule is trying to do as it pertains to DeFi was pretty well laid out in the previous article. I'd like to turn now to this document. This is often referred to as the SEC Crenshaw Memo, which was originally written, it was in November of 2021, and it was titled "A Statement on DeFi Risks, Regulations, and Opportunities." And this is pretty much the position of the SEC when it comes to DeFi. When that earlier article stated that their approach had been come in and talk to us about DeFi, this is the document that they're taking that position from. And I mean, pretty much what it says is that there's no hard and fast rules in terms of how to actually regulate and approach DeFi from a securities-based perspective. But if you think your project could fall into this umbrella web of regulatory risks and regulations, please come in and visit us. And it's kind of like put us on notice so that we can kind of put you on our radar in terms of keeping tabs on you and making sure you don't engage in the unlicensed or unregistered sale of securities. So this is a healthy information for those that seek to learn more about the SEC's history regarding their position on how to treat and regulate DeFi. So returning to the original article and its overview of what the proposed rule would be and its effects on DeFi ecosystems, recall that the proposal would expand the definition of dealer to include people and businesses that use automated and algorithmic trading technology to execute trades and provide liquidity in the market. And then also that the proposed rule would also apply to digital assets that have been deemed to be securities. So it's kind of like a two-part attack, one of which they're seeking to expand the definition of dealer and broaden that horizon to encompass AMMs and liquidity providers. But at the same point in time, it still leaves open what is deemed to be a security, right? And so turning to that, recall that the test to determine whether an asset is a security is derived from the Howey test. And it's a four-part test, and the elements are as follows. You need all four of them to be classified as a security, and it requires 1, an investment of money, 2, in a common enterprise, 3, with the expectation of profit, 4, to be derived from the work of others. So even though the SEC is seeking to expand what a dealer is defined as by broadening that umbrella to encompass AMMs, automated market makers, and liquidity providers, it still leaves a lot of interpretation and subjectivity in terms of what is deemed to be a security, right? So we know that the SEC has previously come out and stated that Bitcoin is not a security, and even more interestingly, that Ethereum is not a security. And what's interesting about Ethereum is that Ethereum was released as part of an ICO. So I think the SEC and government agencies came and laid the smackdown and cracked down on a lot of these different ICOs, but at the same time, Ethereum got a free pass. So there's a lot of ambiguity in the market in terms of the entire digital asset space as to what a security is. I think ultimately we need more hard and fast clarification regarding the rules and the test to determine what a security is, what is deemed to be a security, a new set of rules and principles to guide market participants and regulators through this ever-evolving and quickly changing space, in particular as it pertains to these digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and DeFi products. We need a new set of regulations and a new test crafted, hand-tailored to these digital assets. So that's the second prong. Okay, they're trying to expand the definition of dealer, but it still leaves up in the open, okay, if you're a dealer, it applies to assets that are deemed to be securities. But still, to that effect, what is a security? Especially when it pertains to a lot of these ambiguous digital assets. And as a final point of note, I'd like to bring to light the fact that I feel like a lot of this is just the SEC kind of jockeying for position within the pecking order of a lot of these different regulatory agencies, and they're trying to bring a larger swath of the market under its regulatory control and jurisdiction. And by doing that, in a sense, they kind of shore up their power base and make themselves more regular or more relevant. And when you have a larger mass of control, a larger base of pools of different assets that you're regulating, naturally you could expect a larger budget, more employees, a larger fiefdom in a sense of different things that you control. And so that's kind of a lot of what government does. It's kind of like power just kind of seeks to grow itself. And this is one of the ways in which this entity is seeking to grow its power and expand its sphere of influence. So that's just some food for thought. But ultimately, I'd like to see how this shapes up. I anticipate, since this is becoming such a hot topic issue and like a hot button issue in the digital asset space, I feel like if they get swarmed with comments and this really starts getting out there and building momentum, the pushback against this proposed rule, that is, then it could potentially force the SEC and Chairman Gensler to walk back their position and narrow the scope of this proposed rulemaking and the definition of dealer to not be as broad so as to encompass everything within the DeFi ecosystem. And they might have to go back to the drawing board and kind of try to take another crack at it rather than these kind of underhanded style jiggery pokery moves where you're hiding this type of major regulation and regulatory developments into this voluminous 200-page document. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this content. As always, please, if you did enjoy it, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate that. And with that said, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you all in the next video.